plan section is a bunch of different, essentially wizards and workflows. So essentially what you will do is you'll go through this, you kind of outline your business strategy. This generally comes from your business case. Your business case will have had what you want to get out of it. We've loaded some prereqs here, like enable mobile productivity, simplify document management, let's choose that one, and of course reduce storage costs. So each business case has kind of a description, category, and a name. So we'll go through this tool, we'll outline who our project team is. Here are the sorts of people that we generally like to capture in this deployment plan. Project owner is really the only mandatory one here. We pre-populate it with all these others though as well.
And while he's typing that, the key, couple of the key pieces is this deployment plan is for you, but it's also shareable with the onboarding center. So if you're working with a partner, if you're working just yourselves, but as you move into deployment with the onboarding center, this is something that they will do during the assess phase with you. And so, these key contacts, your partner's key contacts, it makes it very easy for the onboarding center to engage quickly and with the right people. So just keeping that in note that absolutely this is built for our customers, but it's a huge part of your kind of flow in the initiate phase with our onboarding center.
So as you do a deployment plan, like this project owner here, this is the person that the onboarding center will call as you go into those deployment phases. If you don't have this, we have a fairly complicated workflow to work out who to call. Generally ends with the person that signs the check. And so that's not always the person that's going to do the deployment, right? So do this deployment plan, get the right people involved. Made a mistake. Oh, typing too fast. Data validation, guys, it's a wonderful thing. Workload details. Here what we really focused on is getting away from the product talk. Exchange does email, yes. Office does Office. Online meetings, social networking, all these sorts of things. In Office 365, the lines are blurring very quickly between what is SharePoint, what is Delve, what is Exchange, and all those sorts of things. And so it's actually not very valuable anymore to think about those particular products unless you're migrating from them and those sorts of things. So I'm just going to choose some easy ones here. I'll call this user segment attendees. We'll say there's 250 attendees, and we have one user already in Office 365. And the reason we're asking for existing users is because this deployment plan, we expect you guys to iterate on that deployment plan throughout the deployment project. I haven't seen a single deployment plan that hasn't changed from start to end of these projects. Generally, we're going to chew through them pretty fast. One particular customer I was working with had a different deployment plan every 3 weeks. Something changed. It's an 18-month period of so many different deployment plans that they created. And then, of course, the timeline. And these are the key phases of that deployment plan that we're looking at here. Just for the ease of this demo, I'm going to simplify it down, and I'm just going to fill in start date, tomorrow, and end date. Let's make it, let's give ourselves 3 weeks. Save that. Sorry, did that wrong.
No, you're good.
And I'll just delete these ones here. Back down. Project risks. We like to include the risk register in this deployment plan. Risks and issues are two different things, right? Risks are things we're worried about. Issues are things we have. And so we've got some default risks here. Change in scope. Anyone have that risk? Okay. Schedule slip. Anyone? So that's just two default ones here as well. So fill those in. Essentially, going through this wizard, this is fairly high-level stuff that we're capturing at this point in the deployment plan. But what you'll see as we go forward, as we've completed this first section, is because based on what I've chosen, you see another section now appear down here. You see the Exchange Online section appear because I've said that yes, we want to do Exchange Online. So if I go into these sections now, what I'm going to have is a bunch of different questions. So plan overview, current environment, identity, they're the core ones here as well. As we get into Exchange, we have a bunch of more technical questions. Is there a requirement for bulk email messages, email notifications? Yes. Mailbox is hidden from the address book? No. Is there a requirement to use SMIME? Yes. Essentially, I'm going through completing these questions, and these all become part of my deployment plan. So it's a very easy Q&A essentially approach. Your whole team can collaborate on this, so you can have different people do different sections. It may take you, an hour to do this by yourself if you're the sole IT guy and you know everything about your entire environment. Or if you have a larger team, distributed team, sometimes it can take 3 weeks to track down the guy that owns the DNS setting changes, and all those sorts of things as well. So clear out of this. And basically the output of all this is a great tool for entering all the information. Back to deployment plan. What we can do once we've filled out this, at any time, we can essentially create a snapshot of all of this content. So when we create a snapshot, as you see what here, we create that initial snapshot as soon as you do that plan overview. And what this snapshot is it's an automated Word document we've generated. So we know you guys aren't power users of Office. Generally, Office is a weird thing in that most of the time our users know more about the product than we do in IT. So it's kind of a strange process we're in. So what we do with this document is we help you automate that deployment plan, and we're filling that deployment plan with a whole bunch of content here. We're building this in Word for good reason. We build it in Word so you can change all the logos and make it look like your own work. Change the author and pass this 40-page document off as your own hard work and take the rest of the week off. So hopefully you like that. It seems like a lot of questions to go through that deployment plan, but the payoff is quite good. Also, you can fix some of our spelling mistakes as you go through this document. So that's essentially the deployment plan. We have a simple